You're watching the eMind Rocks Youth Summit with me, Nabila Jamal. Today we have a very special guest joining us, Jacqueline Fernandez, the very beautiful, very charming, and the very many. I couldn't stop gushing. Jacqueline, looking at you, I was just thinking, I was only wondering if it was a guy interviewing you. Imagine, the blush on the face. I'm going pink.
Oh gosh.
Look how pretty you look.
No.
And that's what the lockdown has done to you.
Well, honestly, I think that I've definitely had more time to sleep, right? So
I know.
That just makes a huge difference, especially in our profession. You know how crazy it gets with timings, and they just go all over the place. And sometimes you realize you haven't slept for like 2-3 days, and you're like just on the go. So yeah, I guess it's just I've been having all this time to sleep. So yeah.
Excellent. It really shows on you, the blush. You're looking lovely, and I think the beauty of it is that, or the secret of your blush here is more about your positive attitude, which we've seen through your journey in Bollywood. We've seen it time and again at every juncture. Whatever film that you come up with, whether it does fabulously well or it tanks, however it goes, whichever way it goes, the smile with which you come back for the next interview, or speaking to your fans, or whatever you do, any interaction, it actually rubs off.
Every time I hear this as well from people, the best compliment I feel I've ever got throughout my career in 10 years was, people come up to me and they say, hey, you know what, if we follow you on social media, or when we see your films, when we see you dance, you really bring a smile on our face, or you make me feel happy, or you make me feel positive, and you spread good vibes. Like that for me, I feel has always been my favorite thing to hear, because I just feel like it's so important. It's not easy to stay positive, especially in this circumstance that right now that we found ourselves in. I have a lot of friends who are going through whatever they're going through. We've seen what's been happening around the world. We've seen what's been happening within our own industry, and it's very, very, very difficult to keep up your positivity in this time. And but we need to be able to support each other in this,
Absolutely.
And,
I mean, it's not just about looking through the positive out of the situation that's so negative out there, but it's also actually imbibing it personally, right? Doing the right things, trying to actually stay positive, stay calm, speak positive, think positive. Somehow you've managed it all in a way that it really shows in the way you speak to people. I've seen you actually interact with people on ground, with fans on ground. Someone wants to take a picture with you, you're giving them a tight hug while taking a picture. Not many of them actually give that kind of make a fan feel that special. You actually make a fan feel that special.
I love it. I love it. And you know what's really making me sad right now is the fact that even how the world has changed, and right now personal hygiene etiquette has become a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
And who knows if we'll ever be able to really do, to kind of just give that, that hug, if we'll be able to shake hands anymore, if we'll be able to have the kind of functions that we've had, in big crowds and big groups for I don't know for how long now. No one can predict anything, right? So it's that's something I think about that. I go through old stuff and I see things.
I know. I miss hugging my friends. I really miss that physical touch, the physical contact. Just the shake hand, just the hug. It's just.
And now it's almost become taboo, right?
Yeah,
it's almost become I was sitting with my team. We met after ages, and we're trying to put something together, and then. When everyone met each other, we are people who literally most of them have worked with me for years. One of them has been working with me for 10 years since I've, just moved here. And when we all met each other, we couldn't even hug. We were like, hi, how are you? You're good? Okay, good. Oh, yes. And it was so weird. And then we thought to ourselves, this is so weird. This is so bad.
That's the sad part, right? That's how you express love now. Don't touch your loved ones, because that's the only way you show that you love them.
Exactly. Exactly. That's true, though. That is important. If you, it's important to be responsible, and to, for everyone's safety, you do have to now hold back a little bit. And
I know. I know, it's
But
okay.
yeah,
I think people who know you, you know, they know that you have that kind of affection. We hear that you left a farmhouse, came all the way to meet a friend just because a friend was really going through a tough time. Is that true? Take us through that.
I mean, yes, you know, I did come back to Bombay. I had a, you know, a friend who wasn't, you know, I think right now what's happening, I was very blessed in the fact that I was able to spend, you know, a huge amount of time, you know, on a farmhouse and be around nature, which is something I love. I love horse riding. I love animals. I love gardening. I love planting. And I was able to do that for a very long time.
Yeah.
From right from the beginning, actually, of the lockdown. And you know, I knew very well, like, if I was in the city, I live alone, as you can see, like, there's just, like, it's just me. There's, you know, no house help also right now.
That's your house?
But, yeah, but you know, like, for me, I knew that if I was in the city, I would be alone. I would not be, probably, you know, not letting anyone in, and obviously everyone's in lockdown, and so you can't really meet as much. And so it would have been, I mean, after some time, I'm sure it would have gotten to me. You know, it would have got quite depressing and quite, like, I mean, lonely. So, and the thing is, a lot of my friends live this way. You know, a lot of them, you know, they live alone, and, you know, they're away from their families also. And so, and I'm sure, you know, you can handle it a couple of days, but when you go 3 months at it, you know, it's
much longer than 3 months now. Gosh, I can't even imagine those. I'm away from my family for 5 months, maybe the longest that I've ever been, and I feel terribly alone.
No,
you know, at one point, even if you have people around, but you don't have that kind of warmth as much as you would have with your family and your close friends.
Absolutely, no, it's crazy actually, because that is actually I mean, something that I think a lot of the city folks are actually going through, and the ones living from home. So yeah, and as soon as I came back, it was, you know, it's a lot more serious, you know, than we could imagine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, everything is good now. Everything's fine.
I know.
You know.
I mean, you don't have to say that. We can see, look at you, so fit, so tight. If you could tell me, Jacqueline, your routine for the day. I mean, you know, that's the one thing on top of everyone's mind when they see you. How does this girl manage to look 16 forever? Forever. Look at
God.
you. You're so fit. And you're probably one of the only actors who've acted with all generations, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I have actually worked with quite a few. I mean, like, you know, I mean, when I first came here, I was working with Amit ji, and then I mean,
go on, tell us.
It was actually quite cool, because my first film actually was with Amit ji, and then Ritesh as well, and then I've worked with Imran Hashmi. I have then moved on to, then I've worked with opposite John, opposite Saif, then opposite Salman, then opposite Akshay, then I started working with Siddharth,
Tiger Shroff,
Tiger. You know, I mean, the Sushant, unfortunately, who's not there anymore. But like, yeah, it's then again, you know, my last was not my last, but like then it was with, I mean, Salman again for Race. And then like my last one, Mrs. Serial Killer Manoj. So yes.
So that's very few actors, like I said, who've acted with most generations within the industry, all the top stars.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that actually. That was a really cool observation. I like that. That was great.
You did mention Sushant. Since you did mention Sushant, I'd like to hear your fond memories of him. The last film that you did with him was Drive. How did that go? What's that one thing that you really take back of Sushant whenever you think of it?
You know, it's still very, very difficult for me to digest that he's gone. You know, I still see a lot of, when I go online and I go on my Instagram, I still see so many like videos of us and pictures of us, and the other day I was seeing a video of us rehearsing for a show that we were doing together. And like, it's just, I mean, it's really, I don't know how someone who I would have never guessed in my wildest dreams would have wanted to, you know, take his life. And I didn't think, whenever I worked with him, the funny thing was, like, I was always the one who was like, oh, Sushant, I'm really struggling with this. Oh, Sushant, I'm, you know, I don't know, I'm confused.
Were you all great
And
friends?
I mean, we bonded very well. We bonded very well. We've done one film together, but, you know, we've done stage shows, and we've done appearances, and we've traveled together, and, you know, like, so, I mean, it's somehow with him, like, I looked at him as this genius, you know. He was always, you know, telling me which books to read. Oh, you don't know about this? Oh, wait. Okay, Jackie, let me introduce you to this author. Let me introduce you to this science. Let me introduce you to. So I was like, and things that actually have really helped me in my life, like, have changed my life in a way, you know, like the kind of things that he was teaching me about philosophy, and the type of things he was teaching me about biohacking and improving my wellness and improving my energy levels. And
I mean, it's mind-boggling to know that such a powerhouse of a talent, something could go wrong, right? And you never saw it coming. So it is disappointing. It's really shattered a lot of them, his fans undoubtedly, and even shaken the film industry, to say the least, right? Jacqueline, positivity is something that we're really looking around and hunting for constantly. So, you know, recently on social media as well, you yourself admitted on dealing with some bouts of anxiety. You said that yoga helped you a great deal to deal with it, and you know, that's the only way that you feel is the right way to vent out your angst.
Absolutely.
So take us through your, you know, your moment with it and your phases through anxiety.
The thing is, for me, you know, I went through a small, very, very, I didn't understand what was happening to me, to be honest. This happened a few years back, you know, and it had a great deal to do with my work. You know, I just didn't know what was happening. I was feeling very lost. I wasn't knowing, you know, you don't really know, you don't really have anyone to turn to.
Yeah, true. You can't really say it, you know, you can't frame it in words. It's as simple.
The thing is about that, when I was able to, you know, muster up the courage to talk about it to a few people, they would brush it aside and be like, you know, like, what are you talking about?
You're
you know,
the most positive person I know. You can't feel like that.
You can't be talking about things like that. Come on, what are you saying? You're being very ungrateful. You people like you who have enough, you cannot be talking about stuff like that. And then and that actually really kind of made me realize they're absolutely right. You know, like, how can a person like me, I'm completely abled, you know, I have what I need. You know, like, I'm healthy, I have my health, I have my family, but still there was bouts where I was just not, my chest was getting very tight, and I was just not able to breathe. But you know, like, the thing is, then I kind of, you know, kept things to myself, and somehow I guess maybe work, like, I kind of put it into my work, and then things kind of worked out. And recently, though, I mean, during this lockdown, and especially after, you know, like Sushant's death, you know, it was strange. I was kind of contemplating on a lot of things, and I mean, the anxiety, the you know, tightness of chest, the not being able to, you know, to breathe properly, not being able to, you know, it just comes flooding back in, you know, and we can't really explain it, because
and you don't know when it creeps in as well. Just
you don't know when it creeps in, you know, and these are actually things that, you know, professionals can maybe take you through. You know, maybe you can have your support system, you can have, like, your family, maybe you can have, like, some friends who it's a little bit comforting that they're there, but it's really something that, you know, only you know what you're going through, but it's very real. A lot of people don't, I mean, like, people brush it out, and the thing is that it is something that you can kind of brush aside, but the person who's going through it is very real. So
and brushing aside is certainly not the right solution. You took to yoga. People take professional help. Some of them just brush it aside, trying to get busy with work. So did you really actively stay busy during the lockdown? Because this was quite a depressing phase for a lot of us. Not meeting families, work not going the way you wanted it to go, and whatnot.
Immediately, what I just started doing was I started creating a routine for myself. And I think it's important that we kind of have routine in our lives, because I think like what's happening right now is there's so much uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds a lot of anxiety. Like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I don't know what's going to be. Oh, my life, what is the next going to happen? Oh, so it's like you're continuously worrying about something that you actually have no idea about. It's not even there. It's not even real, right? But because you have the time now to sit down and think about it and, ponder on it, you are just going for the worst. So what I would do is I would create like a routine for myself, and that routine would involve, me waking up. It would involve me, first of all, it would involve a lot of wellness. The minute you start taking control of like your lifestyle, your wellness, taking good care of yourself, waking up in the morning, having your nimbu pani, hydrating. What has actually something that's really helped me as well as I've started journaling. So first thing in the morning, before I sleep, I have a book. I just start, or get your iPad or get your notes or whatever, and just start journaling. And I think like what happens is it's a form of therapy, and you start venting out things that you need to vent out, and you start, actually realizing the things that you're actually thinking about, and
I know you finally identify what really gets to you.
Yes, and it takes some time. Don't think it's going to happen in the first 2-3 days or something. I've been journaling now for I think the past 2-3 months. Just trying to grapple with the situation, and journaling has really put things into perspective. All of a sudden, it's almost like having an inner voice that's going, you'll vent, and at the end you're like, okay, wait a minute. I can handle this. Okay, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to wake up, and you're having this whole conversation with yourself. And it actually helps you. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I need to be grateful. And you start talking about the positive aspect of it. Okay, fine, that was happening, but that was a mistake. And you know what? The best thing about mistakes is they're great teachers. And I'm going to try not to do that again. I'm going to try to build, some strength here. I'm going to try. So it's like, it's just great.
You're
therapy.
learning yourself through, you're documenting your journey, you're understanding your emotions. And when you look back, you realize, okay, could be trivial. You can definitely do with it. Move on with it.
It's a constant battle till, you almost then just train yourself to, it's like a muscle that you exercise, it is a muscle that you exercise.
True.
So, and I'm saying that exercise has also been extremely beneficial. I think we should really utilize this time to exercise. Exercise is way more than just, a skinny body or muscles or whatever it is.
It infuses those happy hormones. And that's something you can't get any other way.
Any other way, it's happy hormones, and at the same time, it's your mind telling your body, I have this under control. I am in control. I'm going to tell you what what to do. This discipline is a very important thing to have, because if you don't work it, your mind will be doing things on its own. Your body will be doing things on its own. There's just no control anymore. When you actually physically get your body to do things, something that it probably doesn't want to be doing, you're actually disciplining your mind, to go in the right path. And that's a very, very important discipline to have. So in this time, I've found exercise extremely beneficial.
Exercise is something that you've been committed to forever, right? We've seen you do all the pole exercises, the dance moves. Gosh, I mean, and we're looking at an industry that you are in, where there are constant parties, that kind of food, that kind of lavish late indulgences, late nights. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to steer clear from all that excitement, enthusiasm, the fun that they call it.
Yes.
How do you really keep disciplined? It's hard, all right? But you're in great shape and you do the right things.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have your routine. When you have a routine.
How do you say no? Fine, you have a routine. All of us have routines, but how do you say no? enough,
the most important thing is the way to say no is to actually give yourself that one day, or give yourself that moment where you do indulge, where you do go out, where you do have a party, you do have a drink at a party, you do have a late night, you eat that cheesecake, like that for me, that is the only way that I can keep discipline. Because if I knew that I had to spend the rest of my life like literally doing the same exercise, waking up early, blah 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 blah, then that will take away from it, like that will take away from the whole point of like the beauty that this is bringing. Because at the end of the day, it is actually, what's very satisfying is knowing that you went through so much to achieve something. That's what makes something so satisfying.
Yeah, you don't want to break the chain there.
Yeah.
True. So what was your guilty pleasure, your guilty indulgence during this period?
Well, I mean, when it comes to food, honestly, like, probably like I know for me, it's like when I want to cheat and stuff, it would be pizza.
Okay.
It would be pizza. It would be ice cream.
Cheat favorites. What flavor of the ice cream?
Okay, this is actually something funny though, because like even though it's ice cream, I have managed to find a healthy ice cream.
Right.
where
you have all the hacks ready.
Yeah, it's actually, they actually use natural sugar, and then they don't use like full fat dairy. They use like almond milk or coconut milk, to make it like.
It's great. Plus, when you're at a routine, you don't want to like shake it off completely.
Exactly.
If you can get an alternative, you'd rather stick to it. I know.
Yes, exactly. I've been indulging in a glass of wine, or like over the weekend, I've been kind of making time, because the thing is about that, when I was working and not, I mean, who would have ever expected this thing to happen? But I would never go out and party. And a lot of people are like, ha ha ha, whatever. Like they laugh. People who obviously don't know me, and they just see this image of me as an actress, a bubbly actress, that too. They're like, oh, come on, you're a party animal. And I've got this my entire life. It's very strange, but like, and people who know me, people who've worked with me in my vanity day in, day out, for so many years. I mean, and even my co-stars, that I've traveled with. I mean, the other day, me, Raj, DK, and Sid were on a Zoom call, and we were talking about Miami and how like when we were shooting there, and like how I would never come out and party. They're like, oh, Jackie, you're so boring. You're like the most boring one, because like, and people who know me well, it's just that I would rather go home after shoot, and I would sleep. And I would wake up nice and early, and I would start my day. I would do my prep, I would do my exercise, and then I would be fresh for work. And so that actually took away my social life big time. There was absolutely no social life in my 10 years of working. There was, no partying. There was no late nights. And
but do you call that the secret to your success? Because that's precisely what's kept you, I think, young, energetic, fit to fight this industry, which is, at one point can get so vicious and pull you down at, somewhere. You need to have the looks. You need to have the body. You need to have the energy to keep up.
Yeah. Actually, in a way, you're right. I think like some people get very carried away with it, and you can really lose sight of it. It is difficult to get out of. I've seen that happen to people. It it can pull you into like a deep hole that you cannot imagine, and it can become addictive. It's late nights and partying and and then like showing up to work the next day and okay, fine. It catches up with you. Late nights is not just
late nights. You want to eat, you want to drink, it throws your entire routine off gear. But Jacqueline, I have a few questions that few of your ardent fans want to ask you. One of it is from Komal Rathi, Delhi University, who says, who asks you, when are you planning to get married? A very typical question that comes to all of us, I guess. But here's a question to you particularly. Such a gorgeous woman you are. Is there anyone special, and is marriage on the cards?
Not even my parents actually asked me that. They like, because I guess they know me so well. Like even like like my team knows me so well. But honestly, like it's funny, but like I always felt that I wasn't. you know, I wasn't getting married, obviously, because you need a partner to get married.
Uh-huh.
So, and there was nobody in my life.
Okay.
And there hasn't been anyone in my life because obviously there, again, the same thing where I'm like continuously finding myself working and constantly finding myself not socializing or making an effort in that department. So and yeah, now I'm sitting in quarantine going, oh my god.
Looking back, I wish I'd had someone during the lockdown.
Like, what was I doing? Exactly. Now I'm quarantine. It's the best time for me to spend time with this person, and he's not even there. You know.
It's unbelievable. Well, okay. Is there a specific, this is how the guy I want to be with should be?
You really cannot. Yeah, people are taking notes right now. Oh, okay, what is it again? Yeah. No, but I really think, when it comes to chemistry, right? You can't predict that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I mean, and for me, I always go with emotion. So like, if I was to feel, I can't make a list and be like, I want this in a guy, I want that in a guy. I would like, for me, it's only chemistry. It's only chemistry, and it's that electricity, and things like that actually like guide my intuition about a person, and they turn out quite right. But when you have an intuition, your mind knows exactly what it's doing, and sometimes, unfortunately, that might even lead you maybe to the wrong person. So you've got to be like careful, but. Yeah, for me, it's just about chemistry. And that's something I can't even, unfortunately, predict. Trust me, if I could put a pin on it, I would like go on this shadi.com or something.
And write your credentials.
Yeah, and be like, I am looking for
Yeah. Give me 3 of those da. 3.
Okay. Okay, 3. Okay, so basically maybe like 3 important things probably for me.
Looks
I think
matters.
I think, huh?
Looks matters. Yeah.
No.
Somewhere.
But what does matter to me is fitness.
Okay. Yeah. So that a fit guy is just a good-looking guy. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, because there is a and the reason why I love fitness, honestly, is because I love people who have discipline in their lives.
Right.
I love it. Like, I feel like discipline, it's a great value, to have. And like for me, like values are everything. So like, if I can see that a person has discipline, then I know very well he will be someone with values.
Yeah.
He will be someone who respects his parents.
True.
He will be someone who, like thinks about social causes.
A rounded person.
Yeah.
But don't you think he could be self-obsessed? Selfish.
That is a big no. Like
that could also be a big possibility. A person who is so self-centered, doing everything to ensure.
Not a narcissist for sure. Like not someone who is just like, I mean, someone obviously who takes care of himself, that's important, but like narcissists are not very nice people.
No, not an over-obsessive guy. No.
They're not good people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of fitness, a few questions coming your way on what is your routine and your magic formula in terms of exercise. Anything that you would recommend as a go-to yoga pose or a must-do fitness routine?
Okay. Something really, really important that I've been. Something that could actually keep you looking fresh and full of energy, something that's also very anti-aging.
Okay. All ears.
Is inversions in yoga. So we all know like the benefits. Yoga is a 1,000-year-old science, and it like goes beyond that. And there's a lot of magic in yoga. It teaches you a lot about mind and body, but it is also very, very anti-aging. And the reason for that being is there's a lot of inversions that happen in yoga. So like you're doing your handstand, you're doing a headstand, you're continuously like when you do like downward dog, so the blood is continuously flowing along the body and straight to the brain. It helps circulate, all of the toxins. It removes the toxins. It helps circulates the blood in the skin, so the skin always looks good. But something that I've been really working on right now are my handstands. And so you have to go through an entire flow of yoga, which involves a lot of inversions. So I go from like, like headstand into like, downward dog. And then obviously with the intention, everything is just preparing you to get into a handstand.
Whoa. So,
So
that's
I haven't
would you
worked-
call that your magic moment, your magic yoga pose?
Yes, I would. And I've been actually talking about inversions for a while now to people, and just saying this and the benefits of inversions. And the funny thing is, like, even when I was doing pole, it's all about inversions. You're going upside down, you're hanging upside down, like you're spinning, and very, very difficult to do. It's a full body workout. But it is very, very beneficial, and I would, it also makes you happy.
Jacqueline, your journey has been quite mesmerizing to a whole lot of us. You were also a mass communication student, did journalism from University of Sydney, we understand. You worked as a TV reporter in Sri Lanka. What's your career advice to those planning a career path? Did it ever go? Clearly, it must have not gone as per planned. But what would you suggest or say to those who plan something else happens, they aren't really, just the journey, your tip to those youngsters?
So I have to say that I have always wanted to become an actress. Like when I was younger, I was just very, very enamored by just mainly the glamour part of it, to be very honest here. Like, there are people who go into the film industry because they are such great entertainers, and and there's the artistry of acting and mimicry and all that stuff. And while I, as a viewer, enjoyed it, I was very mesmerized though with old world actors and the glamour. And and like any of us, like any kind of outsider, actually, for me it was I was this Sri Lankan girl growing up in the Middle East, where like even in our school we couldn't perform in theater, we couldn't do plays and stuff like that, because it was, as an extracurricular activity, it was not something that was really encouraged. So for me it was like, wow, that world just seems so out of reach. Everything just seems so out of reach and so impossible. Like I couldn't even admit it to people that, oh, I want to be an actress, because it was just ridiculous to say something like that.
And is that why you took up journalism? Because that's possibly the closest to being on air.
so the thing was, what happened was, I was like, okay, fine. Okay, becoming an actress is super unrealistic. So let that go out of the window now. I was like, but I realized when I was from the age of 14, what I was doing was I was called to do television shows. Okay, and this was in Bahrain. This is the Middle East, a little tiny island in the Middle East. And during the summer holidays, they needed like a kid to host the summer festival show. Okay, so I would go and I would have to interview people in the mall. And then for Ramadan, they needed these little shows on TV, so I would go and I would do Exo Kitties, which is like this game show for kids, and I would host it and stuff like that. And then so I said, okay, fine, you know what, I have a natural knack for being on television. I can interview people. I'm not camera shy. I was like, chalo, let me go and learn about media communications. I took like law in I took media law. I took business studies in that. I took just like mass media, and I said, okay, this could be something that I could do. I went to Sri Lanka, as an intern. And I worked for Young Asia Television. I worked on a show called The No War Zone, where we were like just kind of, as kids, we were dissecting the whole civil war that was taking part in Sri Lanka, and like putting things together. I was learning about editing. I was learning about all these things. And that year, Miss Sri Lanka happened. So that year I joined Miss Sri Lanka because for me, the glamour world was something that I was, very
you always
intrigued
admired. By. And from there wasn't looking back.
Yeah, like from and then when Miss Sri Lanka happened, I always felt like I had journalism to go back into. I had television to go back into, but like then it was funny. But when Miss Sri Lanka happened, I was in Sri Lanka at the time, and then I was asked to do stuff in India just as a model and just as a Miss Sri Lanka. And from there, it was my first trip to India. I came. I did a little bit of like a few modeling stints. From there, the film offers came.
Your journey in Bollywood has been quite successful. A magic moment that you could remember.
Whatever your dream is, this is what I would like to say to kids though, whatever your dream is, it may seem unrealistic, right? But still, like, keep it there. Keep it there and go with what is coming your way. Use the opportunities that are coming your way, but never let that dream go, because it will somehow find you.
It will manifest.
If you don't let it
go. I know, absolutely.
It'll somehow find you.
You know what? Yeah. Very interestingly, you did take up your master's in mass communications course. You completed your degree. You did all of that, right? So education was a must. That was never an option for you to skip it. So a question on that from Aradhana Galgotia, who's the director of operations at Galgotia's University, who asks you particularly on how important is education, qualification in your career and industry, and what are the top 3 advice that you would give to young aspiring students who want to be part of the Indian film industry?
I would never demote education. That it is the thing about education. I feel like the reason why it's so important, honestly, is because as youngsters, we may know what we want.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're clear about that. But education broadens your horizon.
True.
Okay. It also teaches you, again, I'm going back into this, but it also teaches you the value of discipline. It also teaches you people. It also all of a sudden hones other skills of yours which you might not have known existed. It's working. It's like continuously working your brain, which is important. So I would never ever demote like education. That to me is something I feel, go through it when you're young. You have the time, do it. Okay, it's just an added advantage.
Sure.
I wish, as someone who came into the film industry, and because that was something that I had wanted to do, I wish I was able to give more time into the acting courses, because in whatever field that you go into, I think it's important that you keep learning. And I realized that much later in my career. You know, that's when I started like going into courses. And even though I worked with, you know, coaches who would coach me on my diction and coach me on, you know, certain scenes and stuff like that. If I schooled in it, I feel that I would have learned so much more, and I would have been able to like give so much more in my, you know, in my performances and in my work. People who want to come into the industry, you've got to train, and you've got to be, you know, you've got to work on your skill set. Now, and that is also the reason why I'm, you know, emphasizing the need to learn. To actually learn the skill, to actually learn what you can do with the skill, and how maybe you could even add more things to the skill. If it's dancing as well that you want to be learning, if it's like mimicry, if it's, you know, if it's I mean, like just different types of skills that you can actually add to acting that can actually make you different and stand out. Editing, and I'm not even talking just as an, I'm saying learn how to make a film. Learn how to edit it.
True.
Learn how to, you know, go so deep.
Bollywood is such an industry where you're the master of all, and that's what we should take as a plus, because you know singing, you know dancing, you know acting. Apart from many other skills, many of our actors even do their stunts by themselves. Which is awesome. I think this is one of the best industries. But any window or a magic formula for an amateur to get into the film industry? I mean, there's so much talk about nepotism and outsider, whatnot. Jacqueline, you're an outsider yourself, and look at the warm welcome, a red carpet entry that you received within Bollywood. Would you like to touch upon that? You also said something very interesting, that cinema is the most beautiful fraud in the world. Elaborate on that.
So, you know, I realized something about the film industry. It's, and I've been here for 10 years. I've come from absolutely nowhere. And I was able to kind of understand it. I still don't understand it. What I did understand, what it is the most beautiful fraud in the world. And that's not my quote, by the way. That was a quote by Godard. He's one of the most fantastic French filmmakers ever from the 60s. And, but, you know, it really stuck with me, because it's not real. Actually, what we do, it's not real. It's always made up. It's always a show. You know, as actors, it's always a show, no matter what you're doing. And that's part of what we do, even as a profession. Okay, and it's a skill to be able to do that. It is a skill. So for me, one thing I've really learned, you know, be the best talent that you can be. Be the most, hardworking person that you can be.
And opportunities will come your way, right?
But at the same time, this industry requires you to also be a people's person. It is very, very important to be a people's person in this industry because, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know actually what it is. It is about how you communicate and how well you get along with people, because the film industry also, making a film isn't about one person. There's hundreds of people involved. Okay, and when you're on a film set, you come to see that there's like 200 people here. There's a director, there's a DOP, there's a this, there's a it's teamwork.
Right.
You need to be able to work with all of these people.
You may be the most fabulous actor with the best of skills, but if you don't have the right attitude, that's where you could miss.
You can lose out.
Yeah, you can
lose out big time. You can lose out big time. So my only thing is learn that as a skill, if you need to. If you need to learn communications as a skill, trust me, it will. And I don't know if it's just the film industry. Maybe it's other.
It's possibly every industry. If you want to get to the top, you got to be a people's person. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
You can't keep throwing your weight around and expect someone to lift you up. But nonetheless, nepotism, those being promoted within families, all that is, did that ever bother you or your prospects of getting work?
See, honestly, the thing is, the reason why I don't feel it bothered me was because I felt that I was still getting the work that I needed, not the work exactly that I wanted maybe, but like the work that I needed to get by. I was still getting my fair share of work. I was still being able to, do what I needed to do. And, those who were getting their work were getting their work. And, so
You basically didn't think into it much.
I didn't see it affecting me so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't. So I felt that, again, for me, it's not so much nepotism. For me, it's more about like, maybe favoritism.
Right.
I'm not so much about against nepotism because, if any father or mother had an opportunity to promote their kids, I feel like they would.
Yeah.
Right. But I felt like what was actually happening was maybe favoritism. I don't know if that was something that I was for. I didn't know if like I would probably also feel that there's like a glitch in our casting systems. More than anything. Like, are we going down the right road? To casting, maybe that should be questioned more.
Why? Give me an example.
No, like that's what I'm saying. What I know of like other studios or like other film places is, not film places, but how maybe other countries perform. Like their casting is like there is a very, very tough casting board. And everyone has to have their auditions. Everyone needs to go through auditions. Everybody needs to, prove themselves.
Yeah, sure.
And I think for us, I don't know if there is a very rigid casting system. It may be for maybe secondary actors and stuff like that.
So there must be a system in place. This casting system must be transparent.
Yes, exactly. But if people are to make their films with their people, there is nothing that we can do to stop them because
now you have
right.
Absolutely. Now you have OTT platforms, and you've also had a spat with it, working on Mrs. Serial Killer to Home Dancer.
Yes.
So do you think OTT platforms are now the way out for original, authentic talent without going through the run and rut?
Absolutely. I think like OTT has brought a certain amount of freshness in just the technicians that we're now going to be able to work with, the technicians who are now going to be able to get that type of work, new actors, it's really going to be very new content, different type of content, which is now going to be accepted. Writers are going to be coming, playing a very pivotal role. And I think like that's like the beauty of like OTT right now. And like, the reason why we're experimenting also so much, on OTT is because like a film like Mrs. Serial Killer, for me, it was when it had first come to me, like we knew that, okay, like is this something that we could release theatrically? We don't know. There's always this pressure of like, oh, did we make enough on the first day? Will we cover the losses? Will this be, something detrimental to us if it doesn't do well, if it flops, if it hits? So it's very risky to go with stuff like that because we have quite a bit of a fixed formula when it comes to theatrical cinema.
Right.
And things follow that formula and they work, but like if you go a little bit off, you do run a risk, right? And people don't really like to run risk because there's a lot of money involved, and then there's
absolutely here you have enough room to experiment,
and that's when creativity will really flourish.
True, absolutely. Speaking of creativity, you also shot Salman Khan's song Tere Bina without a crew, without a makeup crew. You did all of it yourself. I mean, I saw some bits of the video. Do you want to give us some interesting insights?
Oh, that was, honestly, when he told me that, listen, we're gonna shoot a song here, I thought he was joking. I was like, very funny. I was like, how will we, we're used to, I mean, he is used to, crews of, God knows how many people. And then songs for us, I mean, even for me, like, because it's this, the glamorous commercial side of Bollywood. Oh, song. Okay, song. Okay, you prep. 1 month in advance, you're told you have to shoot this song. Okay, then you get in shape. Then you check, you work with your costumes.
That much preparation.
Styling. You have all these creative meetings. You figure out your choreography. It's like, it's this very daunting thing when they tell me I have to shoot for a song. Okay, so when he said this, I said, no. I was like, you're going to make me shoot a song without my team, without my crew. And that too, it's opposite Salman. It's not like,
you can't even say no. You got to follow instructions.
I'm not going to say no. And that too, when you shoot a song opposite Salman, it's a huge song, right? Like, it's not like it's going to be something small, right? Yeah. Everyone is going to see it. Like, so then he said, listen, just trust me on this one. Okay, we'll do the best that we can. We have one videographer, one cameraman. And it was actually, Sajan actually shot this, and it was like we just have like whatever we've been using for our social media to like shoot stuff and everything. He had that camera, and we're playing around, just with let's let's put this prop here. Let's we were creating our own little we were doing our own art direction. Yeah. So it was such a great experience as well because it's like I had to do my own makeup. I had to do my own hair. I had to, and I mean, obviously I can do my own hair and makeup, but like, it was something that for the past 10 years, you've been in the habit of always having someone getting you ready, and, so it's almost been, stuck in your head that like, oh, I have to be in front of the camera. Oh, someone has to get me ready. Someone has to get me. And here I have 15 minutes because the sun is like setting. And then like, we've just done the pool shot. Okay, we've jumped in the pool. My hair is wet. My clothes are soaking wet. Okay, Jackie, 15 minutes. We have to catch the sunset right now.
Oh gosh. I have to dry my
hair. And on top of drying my hair, like how will I? It was really, really fun. You come to know actually how trivial things are, and sometimes like how you can really make do with like very less.
I know. I think now most of it going online, things are easier, but you just got to have the will. And
yeah, you really do. You really do. It's
awesome.
True.
So you sing us a line or two. Come on, Jacqueline. I know you're fabulous at dancing and with the piano and stuff. Come on, a line or two of a song that will get your fans totally fall in love with you. Round 2, one more time.
Boro lokar beti lo lamba lamba chul amna metai bende de pola lekinda fool. So that's my Bengali.
Oh my God, that's so
cute for everybody.
That is so cool. Not bad. Okay, show us the hook step before I forget.
Oh,
go for it. Come on.
Okay, I'll just show you guys the hook step. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
And you're supposed to be doing this in a sari also, by the way. So this is just a hook step that everyone and anyone can do. And we were actually very happy with the response that we got on Gainda Fool.
Okay.
we released, me and Badshah had released that song, just the beginning actually of lockdown, and we were just so happy because we got so many, just people, who were sitting at home and like, trying to figure out what was happening to the world and getting into saris and dancing, doing the hook step on Beautiful. So that was really good.
So you've got some great response on social media. Tell me on a final note, as we let you go, I know I've bugged you quite some bit. As we let you go today, take us through your indulgence on social media, Jacqueline. How much do you actually engage with your fans, and how important do you think is social media today, and interaction and putting up stuff, and also the whole load of negativity that's infused into it as well?
Yes. For me, I've been on social media for a couple of years. So I've come to realize that you really have to take things with a pinch of salt. There's so much politics in social media that people just don't understand. So just remember that, it's for you as a medium can be very beneficial, I think, in whatever walk of life that you're in. For me, it's really sustained me throughout this time. Like just being active on it, being, professional on it, trying to garner work through it. It has actually been very beneficial for me. So think about it that way. Think about it as something that you could possibly use professionally. Think about it as something that other people are using professionally. So, anything that has, monetary, financial value, people I think get very also harassed by what they're seeing on it. So just always take that with a pinch of salt. If there's any negativity on it, just be clear that social media is a medium for you to either have fun on or for you to make money on. Excellent. So if you're going to have fun on it, just, keep it that way.
Yeah. You need to have your intent clear.
Yeah. And if you're going to be professional, if you're going to be professional, if you're going to make money out of it, be clear about that too. Don't worry about the negativity that's coming on, because you're being professional on it, and this is something that you're using, as a financial means of income.
Yeah.
So and that for me, it's part of like my industry right now. It's part of what I do. It's part of my profession, and but I love the fact that I can actually interact through fans on my social media. I have, some great fan clubs who are there we all follow each other. We're able to interact, and it's a great way for me to be able to communicate with them.
Well, excellent, Jacqueline. Just a last question here on you transcending borders. You've moved in from Sri Lanka to India. You did fabulously well. Don't you think you'd ever give it a shot in Hollywood? This is definitely your space.
Honestly, of course, I think like it would be anyone's dream. I think, all of us right here, we are signed at in some agency abroad. It's a very, common thing for us to actually want to be able to broaden our horizons.
Yeah.
And, but like the thing is, you've really got to invest a lot of time into it, a lot of time and energy. Working in Hollywood, per se, is something that will not just come out of nowhere. It's like I said again, the casting systems there are very rigid. You've got to be able to kind of like be there for the auditions. You've got to be able to like put a lot of time and effort into it, meet the right people, and if Bollywood, for me, Bollywood has always kept me busy. So I've been a couple of times, and it's just that I realized that you really do have to invest a lot of time and energy into it. So never say never. It would be great. I think just obviously again, like just be able to do all types of cinema. Like for me, it's also a dream to be able to do French cinema. Like I've always been a huge fan of it. Yeah. So I think it's just amazing as actors, like,
it's just about time. I think you're considering OTT platforms. You've already started off. I think that's where you have people, watching work across borders. Amazing. And it's so accessible now that why not? We're going to see you in Hollywood one day. And all the
Yes.
very best. It was
you so much.
so awesome talking to you, Jacqueline. You're such a
You
fun,
too.
joyous person. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Lots of love. Take care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Jacqueline. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.